Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Hey, what up, Mark? I don't know why I want to be annoying right out of the gate. Never mind. Hey, good morning. Good day. Happy Thursday.
Hey, happy Thursday indeed. How's it been going?
Pretty good. I've got my hand surgery, got all my stitches out, so I'm doing pretty good.
Back to jerking off.
Well, it never stopped, to be honest.
Listen, I saw the thing on your hand, and that would be pretty weird.
You're assuming that's the hand I use.
I am assuming. Anyways,
Yep.
Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. We are continuing here in the year 2025 with the year-long theme, 1 Degree of Separation. And you know what, Jeff? I have decided, and I haven't discussed it with you, but I've decided that we're just going to say last week's film.
I am
and then
on
we're gonna,
board. Fucking hell.
I mean, it's not even June, the halfway mark through the year, and it already takes us like 5 minutes to get through all the goddamn movies.
I don't want to do it. I'm so glad you said that, because I'm sitting here like, if this fucker tries to get me to do the rundown, I think I'm going to quit, even though it was my idea. You know,
right?
Like, sometimes I have bad ideas.
It's okay. We all have bad ideas. Anyways, hit the show notes, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Hit the show notes. You can find all how we got here. The rundown will be in the show notes. However, last week Jeff chose the movie Blade.
Yep.
Which it's weird because it's weird context wise because we don't really know how we got here. But Jeff chose Blade, which was written by David S. Goyer.
There you go.
And then this week's film I chose, which was also written by David S. Goyer. 2013 film, runs for 2 hours and 23 minutes. Directed by Zack Snyder, your favorite director.
Oh, I don't know. Fuck yeah.
But this week we watched Man of Steel, starring Henry Cavill,
My man.
Amy Adams, Michael Shannon,
Also,
Diane Lane, Russell Crowe.
Go back and listen to our episode on Let Him Go.
Yeah. Diane. I love Diane Lane. I love Diane Lane. Kevin Costner's in this. Harry Lennox, who
Lawrence
plays the general. Oh, Lawrence Fishburne. Yep. So this film is it's got a very top heavy cast, and a lot of heavy hitters, acting wise. So Jeff, had you ever seen this film?
Oh yeah. I didn't see it in theaters, but I did see it eventually when it made its way to home video or on demand or whatever was going on at the time.
This movie was also written by Christopher Nolan, by the way.
Yeah. Well, that's a writing credit. I don't know how much he actually did, but it was off of the success of his Batman movie.
Right.
This seemed like a missed opportunity, honestly, that they did this. Christopher Nolan could have been the guy in charge of the DCEU, but I guess he kind of christened Zack Snyder to be the guy. And
and a rare misstep from Christopher Nolan.
And that being said, this is probably my favorite Zack Snyder movie.
Okay.
Man of Steel. I think it's a good movie.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. It's because I do too think it's a good movie. I have there's problems in it for me.
For sure. It is not problem free, but it is, in my opinion, more nitpicky stuff that can get in the way of enjoying what is otherwise a really great, possibly best super. It's probably my favorite Superman movie as well.
No,
although
I mean,
James Gunn one is probably going to be my new favorite when it comes out.
Right, right. I'm sharing something with you on the Discord.
Okay.
Of a time that I met Harry Lennox.
Oh.
And he came.
Did we have this discussion?
Did we? I don't know. But anyways, Harry Lennox spoke at an event that I was working at as a law enforcement officer, and I met Harry Lennox. And Harry, he's got like 800 acting credits, because he's kind of in everything, but he's never never the main guy. But I was surprised because I had forgot he was in this movie. But I was surprised watching this, how much screen time this guy got, as the general who's kind of in charge of the Earth's armed forces for this whole thing. But anyways, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a big man.
I can see that.
So anyways, so I went and saw this in theaters when it came out, really because of the success of Christopher Nolan's Batman films, and then the hype that this was getting, this film was getting before it was released. Henry Cavill was a relatively unknown name.
Yeah,
much
sure.
like
This is the first I heard of him.
Yeah, much like most Superman actors were, I guess.
Exactly. Like even the new one, I don't know what the new Superman guy is from.
Right, exactly. But Henry Cavill is Henry Cavill is very good here, but
he's the best.
Yeah.
I fucking love Henry Cavill, and I love him as Superman. It's just the waste that, despite me liking this movie a lot, the what happens after this in the universe kind of ruins the chance at this. He's so good as Superman. It's so.
Certain actors are kind of born to play a role. I think that's kind of Henry Cavill's role here as Superman. It's going to be hard for me to get behind the James Gunn Superman guy, just simply because Henry Cavill was so good as Superman.
Yeah.
But here in Man of Steel, this film is action. Nonstop action. Very, very few moments of downtime. My biggest gripe here is that we don't get, and it's a shame, because I don't know why studios and directors think we need origin stories for characters that 85% of the world knows what happens with them. And I really feel like that brought the movie down here, because the first 30 minutes is spent with Russell Crowe's character on Krypton. And the downfall of Krypton, and how Henry Cavill's character got to Earth, and I don't need that. I didn't need.
I can see a bit of the reason why, though, because it does establish Zod.
Sure.
And Russell Crowe does show up again as an AI or whatever.
Yeah.
So I agree, but I also think that it's not a total waste. I think there's a lot of things that set up Zod, because Zod's a great villain. That's the other thing about
I agree too. Yeah.
Movie is that Zod. I'm glad they went with Zod as opposed to Lex, and I think this is a great version of Zod. He's really military minded. I think Michael Shannon does a great job being a fodder. I agree, but I also think there was some things in there that are important to what's happening, like the whole codex being in Superman as opposed to being in the ship or whatever.
Right. Yes, plot wise serves a purpose. I just think when you go to watch a Superman movie, you don't want to spend the first 30 minutes of a Superman movie without Superman. And to me, and that's my opinion, but to me, I felt like the movie, while yes, it's almost 2.5 hours long, it doesn't really feel 2.5 hours, but I would have liked, right? I would have liked more Superman, or more time with Henry Cavill, because I feel like the character, and we don't get it until the very end, which is kind of weird, but the character of Clark Kent, I feel like we could have gotten more time with Clark Kent and his mom and dad, Earth mom and dad, is because the movie wants you to feel something for Kevin Costner's death.
God.
The movie wants you to feel something for Diane Lane, his mom, and so I really feel like the movie didn't really give us that, though. They want us to have emotions for these characters and why we should be invested in them, but we don't get to spend that much time in them, and I just feel like that was kind of wasted.
Well,
but
I think, honestly, the adolescent stuff is things I'd be fine cutting out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing about him not using his powers because the world isn't ready is such an unneeded plot point, in my opinion, and it leads to one of the biggest criticisms of the movie, which is, what's his name's death. Why am I blanking on his name? Fucking the guy, Robin Hood.
Russell Crowe?
No.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Was Russell Crowe ever Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Literally the movie Robin Hood, he plays Robin Hood.
Oh, nice. But Kevin Costner, his whole death is like the big thing that people point at. And I think it's a bit overdone. Like, it's not that bad, but it is. What I found more annoying was when he's trying to tell his son not to save all those children on the bus.
Yeah.
What a fucking dick. You know, like, what an asshole. So I didn't care about Pa Kent. He sucked.
But I think Kevin Costner's a good casting
he's a good
choice.
Actor. The character sucks. It's not his fault. They wrote
right.
him to be a douchebag. Like, my son's going to live because he's fucking Superman, but the rest of them can die. What an asshole. Like, save a busload of children. I feel like that's worthy enough of a reason to get exposed as being super duper.
Yeah. I mean, I get the motivation, you know. I get the decision to, like, hey, don't save me.
But it's dumb.
Yeah. Right. I mean, this
don't
move...
save me part, I was... Okay, I kind of get that. There's people around. He's making some sort of weird noble sacrifice. Still unnecessary. But I get it. That one actually doesn't bother me as much. It's the kids in the bus that we're all going to drown and die.
Yeah.
That heartless Pa Kent is like, fuck them kids. Let them die. You swim to shore.
Fuck them kids. Always fuck them kids. But I did. There's certain plot points in this film that I'm just like, I don't know why it went this way. Lois Lane as I love Amy Adams.
Yes.
I think she's fantastic. She's a great actress. She can certainly hold her own. Like in the scene she's in by herself, they're great. They're fine. It was just the decisions behind some of the plot that I'm like, why have Lois Lane in that?
It's to give her something to do. So she's not just the damsel in distress. She actually gets a lot of shit to do.
Yeah.
So I was kind of cool with that she was in a position to help Superman, like not just be the one that gets captured by Lex Luthor and he has to go save her,
Well, and I think if Lois Lane had written her article in the year 2025, it would have got published, no question.
Yeah.
Alien man saved me, and Lawrence Fishburne doesn't want to publish it. But no, I love Chris, and I'll talk about Chris Maloney. I love him. Stabler from SVU. I love him. I love how everything that he has, really almost everything he's done outside of Law and Order, he's been a badass, and he holds his own as a character, as this kind of like army captain or military captain, whatever. But it's the supporting characters in this movie that actually, for me, round it out. Like Henry Cavill's great, Amy Adams is great, but everybody else around them is also really good in their roles. And I really like this movie. I just wish it was maybe shorter, and I wish there was some plot pieces that maybe were moved around or just left out, because and I'll say it when James Gunn's movie comes out, is because his movie, I think, jumps right into Clark Kent and Superman having already been on Earth, and
we all fucking know the deal with Superman,
right?
It's kind of like what they did with Spider-Man. Like, we've never seen Tom Holland get bit by a radioactive spider,
right?
But we all know the deal.
Yeah.
So let's like, it's one thing if it's like the first ever Iron Man movie. Okay, Iron Man's origin story makes sense. Right. But we've had a billion Superman movies.
Yeah, like I don't ever need,
like in Superman Returns, did they do the? I don't think they did the origin in that, because that's technically a sequel to the Reeves ones.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. Like if I never saw Bruce Wayne's parents get shot in an alley again, I'm fine. Oh. I'm great.
Yeah. What if they were alive? Like, now that's a twist.
But no, let's talk about Zod. Let's talk about Michael Shannon.
Oh yeah.
He's fantastic. And did you see the Flash movie?
No, God no. I don't.
That came out with Michael Keaton.
The DCEU. Michael Keaton was the only reason I'd want to watch it, but Ezra Miller,
I thought it was fine.
Terrible human being. I just was like, I think I'm good.
Who? Michael Keaton's a terrible human being?
No, Ezra Miller.
Yeah. No, so I thought the movie was fine, and I enjoyed seeing Michael Keaton reprise his role as Batman. But what that movie also does is it gives a different perspective of the battle with Zod, because Zod is in that movie, and so what happens is that Keaton and Ezra Miller, the Flash and Batman, have to go back in time to change some events that happened during this battle with Zod in this movie, Man of Steel. And getting to revisit Zod, the character, in Flash was one of the best parts of that movie, is because Michael Shannon is so good with the character. I agree with you. I think he's one of the best comic book villains that we've gotten on screen.
Certainly out of the Superman repertoire. Like, Superman doesn't have the best villains, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think they did a great job here for sure.
Well, and that's always been the knock on the Marvel films, is that the villains have just been kind of meh. Mm-hmm. If you're not Thanos, then you're probably a shitty villain in the MCU. But or Michael B. Jordan's character from Black Panther. But here, like, Michael Shannon's such a good actor, and like, honestly, he gets a lot of screen time, but like, he's never not doing anything other than strategizing, like, why he's coming to Earth or why he's looking for Superman, or and so to me, that's a kind of, as for an actor, I would imagine that's maybe a little bit a detriment, because you have one sole motivation as a character, and it's to get to this other character, and you have to make your character, the villain, watchable and entertaining in that one single decision, or not decision, but that plot point. And so I think Michael Shannon does a really good job of just chewing up the scenes that he's in, especially him and Russell Crowe's character when they're on the scene in scenes together. And I think Russell Crowe's very good here.
A bit stoic, but good. You know, I really like the scene of Lois Lane escaping the ship with him in there, like, shoot behind you, turn to the right, move your head to the left, you know, that sort of stuff. I really enjoyed that sequence. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. And this is Russell Crowe coming off of, I would imagine is his heyday. You know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, Russell Crowe was the A-list go-to guy in Hollywood. And for him to be kind of a supporting character here, I think it maybe symbolized his shift away from being that A-list actor. It was certainly Russell Crowe before he got fat, but
damn, way to fucking put Russell Crowe on blast.
Well, I mean, have you seen a picture of Russell Crowe lately?
No, but
man's big as a house.
Body shamed a man.
So let's talk about because I think the ending to this movie is what people hated.
Get over their ass, man. Fuck, like Superman had to kill that guy,
right?
Like, I guess.
Well, I mean, he was about to kill. Right, he was about to kill this father and his children with his laser eyes, and if Superman didn't kill him, he was going to kill the like. So the motivation behind it, I get it, right?
Yeah, it anguished him, and you know, but also they blew up all them fucking buildings, and I'm sure other people died in the battle, the lead up. You know, like I personally, my problems with the movie are not the ones that most people have a problem with.
Yeah, and you know, and most people are like, "Oh, Superman is the best of us, and he doesn't kill anybody, and he wouldn't have done that." And I'm like, "Well, this is the first days of Superman. Like, you know, he's conflicted in these moments of protecting his new home, and maybe wanting to make peace with the people from his planet, and like, so I mean, I get it, and then you know he doesn't really know why he's doing what he's doing, or maybe he does know why he's doing it, but he's not the Superman that like Earth knows,
right?
You know, later on, and so like for people to get upset that Zack Snyder chose to have Superman kill this guy, I thought it was a very, like, I remember watching this in the theater and going, "Oh shit, Superman just snapped that dude's neck." And I remember thinking, "Wow, that's a crazy choice." Is because everything that I've ever known about Superman, much like everybody else, is that this man will go out of his way not to like kill somebody. Like,
from what
like
I grew up though, there's plenty of instances of him murdering a dude. You know, like,
I never read the Superman comics, but
neither did I. But from what I've heard, like through talking out of my ass and various podcasts I've listened to, he's killed a guy in the comics. You know, but it like having to kill Zod, to me, like, he had no problem when fucking all the other of Zod's people got murked, you know, like,
right.
So it does seem a bit silly to me, because I think that they portray him in anguish, and like his intention isn't to kill. He doesn't want to kill him, but he's backed into a corner, right?
Well, and in the events in Batman vs Superman, I mean, he is legitimately depressed because of what happened. And did you ever see Batman vs Superman?
Yeah.
Shit. You know, and that's
fuck up Batman versus Superman.
I don't know, but I mean, you fuck up by making Ben Affleck Batman, first of all, but
that was the other thing. It was like, this is the lead into this was, it was produced by Nolan, and so all we really wanted was Christian Bale versus Superman, right? And we didn't get it. So,
well, and you know, Christopher Nolan was I think him and his brother, I forget his brother's name, somebody Nolan,
Darren.
Brad Nolan,
Pierre Nolan,
Charles Nolan.
Yep. We got him in there somewhere.
But like they were pretty much like kind of given the Godfather title of the DCEU at the start of this with, you know, Man of Steel, and then as it went forward and we got Batman v Superman and Justice League and all this other garbage, I just felt like this movie, Man of Steel, while yes, it is big and bombastic as far as like the action goes, yeah, I felt like it was pretty surface level as far as the storytelling. And like it didn't try to introduce a ton of different threads for future movies and all this shit. And it, like, at the end of it, you know, with Superman killing Zod and then getting hired at the Daily Planet, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Like that sets up another story with Clark Kent and Superman having to live with the actions and the consequences of this huge battle in Metropolis, and we never got like this movie jumped right into Batman v Superman, where the government is trying to regulate Superman, and like that's fine. I just felt like this movie deserved a better. Henry Cavill deserved. Yeah, Henry Cavill deserved better storytelling after this. And it was, man, I'm not gonna lie. When it was announced that the sequel to this movie was going to be Batman v Superman, I was hyped.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
Right.
Who
I mean, that's
like,
World's Finest is one of the most popular storyline in comic book, you know, history.
Listen to this.
Well, I mean, I know that because I'm a huge Batman fan, but
that is true.
And so, I've
seen you in your boxers. I know you love.
I don't know how you got those pictures.
Don't worry about it.
I just felt like Zack Snyder could have done so much better after this movie. And I think he tarnished his own legacy, and maybe that's a studio problem. I'm sure Warner Brothers had a shit ton of input into, you know, the future.
I don't think they did until Batman
Justice League,
Superman.
Oh yeah.
Right. Once that fell apart, then they were like, and they had to go deal with Justice League, and that just being a huge shit show.
Did you ever see the director's cut, the Snyder cut or whatever?
You think I want to watch more of that movie? Hell.
Well, so it's interesting is because it gives Jared Leto's Joker more of a more fleshed out. Well, he's not. He's
just in that little. I've seen that little scene where.
But in the director's cut, yeah, in the director's cut, he gets more to do, and it's interesting. It's interesting because if that's really the version that Snyder was going for, I don't understand why the studio would have gone a different direction.
We all know why you like Jared Leto's Jokers, because you have a man crush, and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's the worst on-screen Joker.
I don't know.
So do you think he's better than Nicholson?
No. Well, no.
Heath Ledger?
No, definitely not. He's probably better than Barry Keoghan, but...
Well, Keoghan hasn't really done it yet.
Right.
So I don't think that's fair.
He's better than, what's his name from Romero? Yeah.
I prefer Cesar Romero, personally.
Well, that movie's so camp, you know, it's...
Exactly. He fits the role.
But anyway,
you know, Romero every time.
Man of Steel is what I would imagine a gritty Superman movie would be, and I very much enjoyed the film. Do you have anything left to really say about it?
It's a good superhero movie. I think that it does have its problems, but I think Henry Cavill carries this fucking thing on his back by being awesome and like charismatic and able to do the stoic parts and sort of still bring a levity to a fairly dark movie. That him just being a likable guy, because Henry Cavill notably is like one of the nice guys in cinema, like he's a big nerd.
Yeah.
He's into Warhammer and like people love him because he's like a really handsome ass version of one of us. It's, you know what I mean? Like this fucking ripped ass, tall, dark and handsome version of a nerd. And like how many Henry Cavill roles have you seen that you didn't like? I mean, the reloading arms from the Mission Impossible Fallout, you had to have shit your pants or at least come in them when he was Wolverine for a moment in the Wolverine movie. He's awesome. And I think like just watching him be Superman was so great again. Like I hadn't seen it in a long time and I didn't know who he was when I first saw it. But now that I'm familiar with him and I've grown to like him as an actor, going back and watching him again do this role that, like you said, he was kind of born to do, was so wonderful despite the shortcomings of the rest of the movie. Amy Adams is great, like you said. Lawrence Fishburne, just good acting across the board. I think the recipe was so good that Zack Snyder couldn't fuck it up too bad.
Yeah,
but he finds a way later.
Yeah, and honestly, if Zack Snyder, like, and I really think Zack Snyder probably didn't fuck this up on his own. I mean, he's kind of gone on record since then saying that the studio was very heavy-handed and wouldn't allow him to not include certain characters and this and that. And I just, if this was a standalone movie, I think it would go down as one of the best Superman movies we've gotten. But because it's not a standalone movie and it's part of a franchise now, I think a lot of people just lump it in with, Batman v Superman and Justice League, and they just kind of write it off, and that's a mistake, is because this is a good movie.
Yep.
So do you recommend this one?
I do. I think I found it to be a joy to watch. So yeah. I do recommend it. I think it's well done. I think it's a well done movie. I mean, between this and like Dawn of the Dead, these are like my favorite Zack Snyder films. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I do have my nitpicks at it, but from the characters to the acting to just the kind of nonstop action of it all, and we get to see like Superman's power, like he throughout the movie he's figuring out how strong he is. Yeah. And then at the end, we get to see exactly how strong it is. And I think that, it's worth the price of admission there. But just a really well-rounded movie, comic book movie. One of my favorites, across all of the comic book films I've seen.
Not to mention, they somehow found the perfect children to play young Henry Cavill. Like, these kids look like Henry Cavill.
Right.
I don't know how they did it.
It's good casting, I guess. Anyways, Jeff, what are we watching next week?
Man, we could keep the comic book train rolling here. I mean, I got lots of options.
You do have lots of options.
But I'm gonna I know how much you love the 90s.
Yeah.
What you said, that it's your favorite, you love it, the 90s are the greatest thing ever. So we're going to go back to the 90s, baby.
Okay.
And I think we're going to watch a movie that we probably should watch because we reviewed its spiritual successor.
Okay.
Like a few years ago.
Okay.
And it stars Diane Lane as Judge Herschel.
Judge Herschel.
Yeah. He's a judge. That should be...
Diane Lane in the 90s. Hold on. Diane Lane in the 90s. Judge Herschel.
Are you Googling?
Oh. Wait a minute.
Starring Sylvester Stallone.
Have we never...
Rob Schneider.
I thought we watched this movie already.
Nope. We have not. We watched the Carl Urban Dread.
Yeah, I know. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of...
You're thinking of Demolition Man.
I am thinking of Demolition Man.
Yeah. We're going to watch Judge Dredd from 1995. It runs for a breezy hour and a half. And we'll have finished watching every Judge Dredd movie. Aren't you excited? You love the 90s. You love Diane Lane. I picked this for you.
I'm looking at my options for the week after.
Bro, Stallone? Come on, man. Well, maybe not Rob Schneider. I might have fucked you up with that one, but really, you just got Stallone.
I do.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, Rocky's good. Rocky 2 is amazing. Creed is good.
All right. Oh, you know what?
There's plenty of Stallone out there, bro.
I think I've got mine already picked.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Here you were bitching the whole time. Fuck. And you love the 90s. This is me putting you to the test. I'm gonna get you to admit you lied. You lied about loving the
90s. I don't remember the last time I saw this movie. It may have been the 90s.
I've never seen it.
Wait, what?
Never sat down and watched the OG Judge Dredd.
How? You as Mr. Give me all crazy things that. Oh, well, okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right, let's go.
Also, my follow-up pick was actually going to be Diane Lane in Murder at 1600, starring Wesley Snipes.
Oh, I haven't seen that in forever either. I've seen it, but I have no idea when the last time was.
Yeah, you love the 90s, bro. So,
well, you know what? I imagine I'm going to enjoy this.
Law. That's the only thing I know about this movie.
Oh, anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button when it pops up so you don't miss any future content right here on the channel. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. Find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. Give us a like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any future content across all of our platforms. Jeff, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me right where you're listening to this, unless you're watching on YouTube. But you can find me in your podcast app of choice on a podcast called Chronologically, where we go through the full filmographies of cinema's greatest creators. Right now, we're working our way through Quentin Tarantino's films. You can also check out All Things Being Sequel, where we look at long-running franchises and describe the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. And then join us next week as we watch Judge Dredd from the year 1776. Where's the streaming?
1776. You like the 90s.
I do like the 90s. I'm just making fun of how old it is. It's streaming on Peacock. But
what else do you want, man?
Yeah. All right. Jeff, any last words?
No.